Hey everyone, hope you're all doing great. Welcome back to this Python series. In this video, we are going to discuss about an interesting concept which is Python comprehensions. Python comprehensions are a concise, elegant way to create new sequences like lists, sets, or dictionaries from existing iterables, such as like lists, tuples, or ranges in just one readable line of code. A very simple understanding of comprehensions is instead of using a for loop, you people can just use comprehensions in just one single line of code so that you can get expected answers in a list format or tuple format, sorry, list format, dictionary format, or maybe the set format. Tuple is not possible because tuples are immutable. Okay, great. So now you'll understand it better related to comprehensions when we try to solve questions. Okay, first comprehension that comes under Python comprehension is a list comprehension. List comprehension means you can expect the result in the form of a list. Okay, so understand it. It has a syntax. Okay, first you have to write an expression, then it should be for loop, then it should be an if condition. Understand my question very simple. I want to write a program to print values that are greater than 500. The same question can be solved using normal approach. We just use a for loop for x in values. We just write a condition. If x is greater than 500, it has to print x, right? So this is first approach wherein you can find all the values which are greater than 500. So same thing can also be solved easily with the help of a comprehension. See, with a normal approach, we are using 3 lines of code, a normal for loop approach, but it's returning values one by one. What if I want my result in a list format? In that case, it's always good to go with a list comprehension and you can minimize your code. You know how? Very simple. List comprehension now, and we want result in a list format, right? So start with a list. And then, so this list is going to take 3 things. First thing is, the for loop comes in a middle, okay? And then you have to tell like what exactly you want. So let's say I want to return x, and then my for loop is for x in values. See? Oh, sorry, it should be values. Just see the simple list comprehension. I'm just using x for x in values. Usually what we do, first we write a for loop and then we write what it has to print, right? Here just opposite. First you have to write like what it has to return, and then it should be for loop. Okay, so it's returning all the x values, whatever is available in a values, it's looping through values and it is printing for you. So now my question is about, printing values which are greater than 500. So for that, I'll just use a condition if x is greater than 500. So now it will try to filter out values which are greater than 500 in a list format. Can you see same thing? For x in values, if x is greater than 500, it has to print x. Instead of printing x, first we write a print statement, then a for loop, then a if condition. And one interesting thing about a list comprehension is it is giving you a result in a list format. Hope it's clear. Okay, great. Next one. What if I need to find square of first 10 numbers? Again, same thing. You want square of numbers, now x double asterisk 2. Use a for loop for x in range of I want first 10 numbers. So I'll say 1 to 11. Yes, done. You got our first 10 square numbers. Square of first 10 numbers. Alright? So what if you want square of first 5 even numbers? Okay, in this case, same code, you just need to add if condition saying, x modulo 2 is equal to 0. So at first it will filter out even number and it's going to give you a list of numbers. See, 2 square, 4 square, 6 square, 8 square, 10 square. They're all even numbers, right? Great. Next one. So what if you want to print only even numbers from this list? Again, same thing. I have to print x and then I want to loop through a list. So I'll just use for x in 8. And then I'll just write a condition if x modulo 2 is equal to 0. Great. We got just even numbers. Hope it's clear. Yeah, that's amazing, right? So next one, what if I want to print just in oval numbers? Just in ovals. So I just want to print x. For x in text, I'm just looping through a text. Sorry, yeah, I'm looping through a text. And then what next? You have to give a condition, right? Like if x is present in AIOU, capital AIOU, then it has to return me. Can you say it's printing only ovals from alma butter? That's how I'm using. Okay. So now, what if you want to classify even number as even, odd numbers as odd? So in that case, understand you have to use if-else conditions, right? So when you have if-else condition, first you have to write statement related to if. First, it has to give me even when if x modulo 2 is equal to 0. Else, what it has to written? It has to written odd. And finally, you have to give a for loop. Remember, whenever it's a simple if condition, print statement comes first, for loop next, and then condition. But when you have if else, statement related to if condition, else statement, and then finally it should be for loop. Okay. Look, it's going to give you even wherever you have an even number, and it's going to give you odd wherever you have an odd number. Hope it's clear. First, it should be statement related to if, your if condition. Then it should be else and statement related to else. And then finally, the for loop. Understand the difference. We'll try one more. So we'll just try to classify the positive and negative numbers. So minus 20, 30, 50, minus 60. Great. So it has to print me positive. Okay. If x is greater than 0. Else it has to print me negative. For what? So you have to loop through a list B for x in B. Always remember when it's an if else, for loop will come at the end. Okay. So this is all about, list comprehension wherein we are getting results in a list format. So from this, what did you understand? Don't you think list comprehensions are basically just short form of your for loop? Writing all for loop logic in one single line of code and returning result in a list format. That's so interesting about, comprehensions. Yeah. And don't expect to solve all the complex questions using this approach. It's not possible. Only for a simple if else, simple for loop kind of thing could be done with the help of this comprehensions. Okay. Yeah. Next one is like set comprehension. Again, same thing, set comprehension is also same thing only, but you write it within a what? Curly braces. Let's say you want to print only even numbers first. So I'll show you, see, simple x, and then you can just use a for loop for x in A, and then you can just write a condition if x modulo 2 is equal to 0. So it will print only even numbers. One, disadvantage with the set comprehension is like if you have a repetitive value, so it doesn't show you. That's one of the biggest issue with this. Otherwise, like everything is good with a set comprehension. Okay. But usually we just use it like this question was like to print even, right? Print even. Yeah, great. So next one, classify even and odd. So how do you classify? Again, same thing. So we just need to classify it like a even first, it should be a result. And then if condition, if x modulo 2 is equal to 0, else it should be odd, right? And then finally it should be for x in A. See, you get your result in a set format, but the issue with the set is like, since even and odd is repeating, it's not giving multiple times. It just takes only one time. That's an issue with a set operator. Same thing with positive or a negative will work. Okay, I hope it's clear. Great, this is all about a set. So next interesting thing about comprehension is a dictionary comprehension wherein you will get result in the form of a dictionaries. This is so exciting. Only a small change that you have to make it is you just need to use this colon concept, key expression and a value expression. Okay, see, I'll show you interesting thing. Like how to classify, elements as even or odd, right? So we just say it like an even. If x modulo 2 is equal to 0, else we just call it like a odd, right? And for x, we just loop it to A. So basically we get a list of even, odd, but we are not understanding which number is odd, which number is even. In that case, what you can do, instead of using a list comprehension, just use a dictionary comprehension. For dictionary comprehension, just change the bracket. And then one more important thing, just give x colon. X is going to be a value. Value is going to be a key. I mean, key is going to be our values in our list, and value is going to be even or odd. See, now it makes bit sense. Like it looks really better to understand and also to interpret, right? I hope you understood. So same way you can try it for positive, negatives as well. I'll just show you. Minus 50, yeah. So simple, less comprehension. So I'll just use x colon, I'll say it like a positive. If x is greater than 0, else what? It should be negative for x in A. So it's going to give you, dictionary comprehension wherein you can see Keys are going to be the numbers in our dictionary, numbers in our list, and values are going to be positive, negative. This is so interesting, right? List comprehension just a substitute for your normal for loop, and you can expect result in either list format, set format, or maybe the dictionary format. So advantages is obviously more readable and concise, very simple to use, and also and you can understand the output in a very easiest way, right? So faster than traditional loops. You can write everything in one single line of code, so easy and useful for quick transformations and filtering. Okay, so this is all about list comprehensions, set comprehensions and a dictionary comprehensions. You might have a question: why can't we do with a tuple? With tuple, it doesn't work because tuples are immutable. Immutable in the sense here things are getting stored in a tuple format, right? So it doesn't work because tuples are immutable. Adding, deleting, those things doesn't work with a tuple. That's the reason. Tuple comprehension, we don't have it. Okay, I hope this is clear. Thank you. Happy learning.